So our speaker is named Mary Ottman. The topic that she's going to talk about is, will you stay stuck or step up? 5 strategies to take your success to the next level. Mary Ottman is a leadership expert, rapid results business coach, professional speaker, and an Amazon International best-selling co-author of Women Rising. With an MBA and a master's in leadership and management combined with rising through the ranks of a male-dominated engineering organization, she has forged a successful 25-year career transforming herself from electrical engineer to successful executive, leading multi-generational teams at a premier research and development organization. A true believer in living life to the fullest, Mary spent several years as a country singer, songwriter, performing at venues like the famous Bluebird Cafe. She has hiked rocky trails in Africa and jumped off the top of a 108-story building on purpose. I don't think that's suicidal, though. I think it was something else. She had so much to live for. She is a unique combination of entrepreneur, performer, reformed code slayer, project manager, director, formerly managing 150 rocket scientists, spontaneous adventurer, and world traveler. We are in the presence of greatness. Welcome, Mary Ottman.
All right, so I'm not from here. Did y'all get that when I started talking? So I just moved to Austin about 6 months ago, and I retired at the end of May from Army Civil Service, 27 years there, and did lots of things. And in other lives, I've been a hotel night auditor, I've been a McDonald's manager, I've done tons of stuff, right? So, but the beautiful thing is, I'm here today to really talk about my favorite subject, the most empowering, enabling subject that I literally saw in my 27 years in DOD. So, first of all, I want to get a sense of, like, the room. So, y'all just shout out, what kind of job, I know we heard from a few of you guys, what kind of jobs are you guys looking for? IT director guy, awesome elevator speech. That was awesome. We're going to talk about that. Accounting, project manager, awesome.
Course developer.
Course developer. Big data guy, gotcha. Analytics. Product management. Okay, lots of product management. I did 5 years of that. Y'all heard about the drones, the drone office? I was in we don't call it that because drones don't have intelligence. We call them unmanned aircraft, but that's where I was. So, all right, so throw out, how long have you guys been looking for a job? Some just started. Six months-ish. Okay, all right, so that helps me. When opportunity knocks, you sit there and go, oh, God, how much work is that going to be? What is she going to do up there? Listen to her voice. This could go anywhere. She jumped off of a building. No. When opportunity knocks, you don't have to have it all figured out. Just jump in there and go, right? So, what I want to do right now is I'm going to pass out these cards, and I need you guys to fill out something. Yes, that would be lovely. Thank you. If you want to take half and I'll take half? Okay. And we're going to use these for a couple things throughout, and I will need to get them back from you. And don't write on the whole thing. Leave room for some information. Okay. So while those are coming out, here's what I want you to think about. What was the best job you ever had? And when you get your card, just take a second, write that down. What was the best job you ever had? It's usually not your last job. I don't know why, that's just usually not what the one it is. If it was the last job, that's fine too. What was the best job and why was it the best job? And kind of note that down. And I'll give you just a minute to do that. Cards are still going out. The big part is the why. Why was it the best job? You probably haven't even thought about this, right? Not the job when you were 15 with the newspaper route.
Oh, shucks.
Not when you sold bait at the beach or suntan lotion. No, the suntan lotion guy. He's a happy guy. That's a good job, but that's not the job I'm talking about. The best professional job you've ever had. All right, so now, yeah, exactly. So now you've got your best job. So let's hold that. We'll hold that thought for a minute. Okay. So what if I told you that your credentials, your experience, your degrees, your certifications, that is not what's going to make you stand out? Right? Buy that? Everybody buy that? Does anybody not buy that? Does anybody not buy that? So what do you guys think does? What do you think differentiates when I'm glad y'all are on board with that. Because basically, if they're bringing you in for the job, you're in the sea of people that kind of have the similar, background experience that they're looking for, right? So that's not what's going to differentiate you. What do you think? Y'all got any ideas?
Attitude.
Attitude. Personality. Intelligence. Emotional intelligence, for sure. Yes, sir.
Passion for what you
Oh, I love that one. Oh, okay. So I love that one. But all of them are right? But how, let's say, for example, how would you convey your emotional intelligence in an interview? Exactly. Your mannerisms, your behavior, that you control your emotions and how you treat people. And what's your tool for conveying that? And I'll just go ahead and tell you, it's speaking. Okay? Speaking. In my 27 years, that was literally the thing that I saw make or break careers. I saw guys with 20 years of radar experience that could design something that could just dominate, all types of weapon technologies. But when they breathe like this, and you're like, nobody's listening, right? If you're monotone, nobody's listening, And when you go into a job interview, if you're nervous and you're everything's on the line, I got to get this job, and that can affect you sound nervous. Or I've seen body language even. There's people, they're brilliant guys, girls. Everybody, brilliant, and they just literally they shrink when they come up here, or they have nervous mannerisms, right? If I'm up here and I'm like, hey, I was in the Army for 27 years, are y'all gonna believe anything I say? Nope. Like, who hired her? Got her to come in here? What in the world is going on, right? So this is how big it is. Speaking is so big. So we're going to talk today about keys to doing that. So the first key to communicating with confidence. Now, there's a difference, right, between confidence and being cocky. Yeah, I know. That's it, right? So cocky is bravado. You don't really have the goods, but you're just talking the talk, but you can't walk the walk, right? Confidence is that inner knowing of I have so got this, and if you guys don't take me up on this, hey, well, that's kind of y'all's bad, right? But, somebody's going to love me because I can deliver, right? So, speaking with confidence. So, the first step to that is clarifying your vision. How you want to portray yourself. Because not everybody's, I get that I'm a whole lot of energy, right? I'm a projector, I get that. And not everybody's like that, especially in engineering and my IT guys. Usually they're like, we're behind the curtain and we love it back here. Y'all just email me. I don't want to talk to anybody, right? Except directors, you guys have to go out and get money and do things like that occasionally. But, so if your personality is calm and quiet, that's okay, but you can be confident in your quietness, right? So what's your vision? How do you want to be known? Do you want to be known as a problem solver? Do you want to be known as the reliable one? But think about how you want to project yourself. And that's important because the next step is to actually videotape yourself in an interview with someone you trust. Okay? So we'll talk about that some more in a minute. But your vision, clarify how you want to project yourself. Not only that, what kind of job do you want? Now, I'm certainly not picking on anybody, but I would say if I was hiring, then I love the nonprofit. Where's my nonprofit lady? I think that's her right there, doing the nonprofit. That was awesome. And that was perfect for this environment, perfectly targeted for this environment. But I would say if you're actually going in for a specific job interview, if you said, well, I'm trying, and somebody else said this too, it's not just you, I'm not picking on you. Well, I'm trying to get into, I've been doing this, my ESL lady. Where's my ESL lady? There you are. Well, I've been doing this a long time, this other thing, and, I would really like to get into this other thing, and I think I could really, you see how that's like, I don't know if she could do this job. Does she think she can really do? So there's that kind of factor. So I'm sorry. Commitment, like you're in it to win it. You're not seeing yourself in that role someday. See, you're in it now. I have got all this experience as an ESL teacher, and I can definitely bring that to bear on this position right here. Own it, right? Own it, and it's not in a fake way. I'm never saying that people feel when you're authentic, right? We don't want the greasy car salesman. Good Lord have mercy. Especially when the car salesman tells you can't look at the Corvette because then you can't put a baby seat in it because you brought your baby to look at the cars. Don't ever do that because he just lost the sale when he did that. Sorry for him. But, be authentic. Be in touch with who you are, what you bring to the table, and that's valuable. And you know what? If you're not sure about the job, just don't show it when you're in the interview. And I would say, you guys, I'm sure, research mission, vision, all that of the organizations that when you're going to apply for a job. If you don't, I would. That would be a tip. So mission, vision, their main product lines, their competitors, and all that. Everybody does that. But if you're like me, I'm 48. I know. Y'all can let that collective, I can't believe that. Okay, y'all can do that right now. Okay, good moisturizer. So, but I have to keep a notebook of those things because when they call you back and you're like, oh Lord, that was a month ago, and you can actually have that page right there where you've done all the research, or when they call to set up a time, you can flip to the page and refresh really quickly and be right on top of your game, and you don't spend that time looking at it again. Who's got time to do that, right? So if you're looking at your top 5 jobs, have that ready to go, and each time you get a new crop, just keep your notebook together. That's just a tip. So anyways, we've clarified our vision. So the next step is to set your strategic action plan. And you can actually apply this process to anything. Because, clarify your vision, set a strategic action plan. In this case, what would that be to improve your speaking? That would be, who here has not done Toastmasters? Okay, so a lot. So Toastmasters is really good, even if you don't want to go into this kind of public speaking, because they teach you to come up with things on the fly, which is what you do in a job interview, right? And so that really gets you practice in a safe, smaller environment, and they give you a topic, and then you come up with it, and you go talk and brief everybody, and they count your yeah, so I've got this degree, they're counting all these filler words, and so you really just become a better speaker overall, which is going to help you no matter what you're doing. Eventually, when you get into a career and you want to get a promotion and all those types of things. So joining Toastmasters, big deal for getting get on the fly. Now there's a fun way to do this too, and this is a great town for this, is taking improv classes. I know. Any of my creative fun people? Y'all, any fun people in the room? No fun. I got no fun people. Okay. Y'all need fun. And I'm an engineer. Nobody ever talked to us about going to improv. Nobody ever talked to us about business classes. I had to go out and get that on my own, But improv, because that teaches you to be just really reactionary and just play off whatever they're saying. And it's fun, and it's supposed to be goofy and funny, and there's no pressure, no judgment. So that's just another way to do that. Okay, so there's Toastmasters. Then there is role playing with someone on a job interview. So who here has gotten really extra hard interview questions? You? Okay. Can you two come up? And y'all can y'all sit just right here for right now, and then and I need 2 people who would love to practice role-playing a hard job interview questions in a safe environment. Anybody? Come on down. Excellent. Yay, very good. Thank you, guys. Yay. All right. So we got to make them where they're not industry specific, but figure out how to more focus. So, like you can't ask an accountant to do a Fourier transform. Okay, so one of you guys on each side, that would be perfect. Thank you. Okay, so now what I would love to do, you guys can sit down. You guys sit down. I want you guys to go first. All right, so we've got a mic here, so if you guys can share this. And so, okay, take a deep breath. You're not throwing people. We're just in my living room right now. We're just hanging out. All right, so in a job situation, now you're gonna, however you would answer this. This was hard questions that she got in a job interview. She's interviewing you now. Yep. You're asking him the same question that you got. Huh? Oh, okay. Oh, that's okay.
So looking at your resume, and I see that you have all this experience in this area, you have all of these degrees, and they really don't pertain to the position that you're applying for. So why exactly are you applying for this job?
Just a second to decide what job it is I'm applying for. You see my education, and you see that I've helped publish books and that I've worked at universities. What you don't see is that what I did was manage projects, herded cats, got things done that people didn't think could be done. Compliance program that looked like a disaster that came out working fine. A documentary film that it's been a lot of money gone nowhere, it's done. So what I learned in graduate school as a historian, as a computer programmer in a previous generation of computers, and working as an editor, was how to suss out what's going on in a situation, how to really get a basic understanding of all the pieces. No, I'm not an expert. Ask for what I need and get the people talking. And that's what I can do for your organization.
Excellent. Give it up for these guys. Thank you. All right. And you guys can sit down. Thank you for playing. Okay. All right, you guys are up. And if you had more than one hard question, feel free to, you can ask more than one.
Who would I know, who would you think is the smartest person that I would know of, and why?
Can you repeat that?
Who do you think I would know of, someone I would know? Who do you think the smartest person is, and why?
Perhaps yourself.
I love that. That's awesome. Okay. Is that what you said?
No. Not what I said.
Wow, what a great answer. Okay, that's it. Thank you guys for playing. I appreciate it. All right, that's awesome. Oh my gosh, I'm just stupefied. That was a wonderful answer to that question. Okay, so a few more tips on this. So Toastmasters, role playing, and what I would do, I would role play with someone you trust that's going to give you good feedback, like, well, how did I come across? How did I seem to you? And then also put your iPod back somewhere, or your iPhone, sorry, and film it. And the reason why, because if your friend, your spouse, whoever it is, your significant other, you're having them interview you, our instinct is, okay, they just didn't get it. They don't know what I do for a living, so whatever. And you blow off their input, right? But if you film it, you get to see yourself do this, right? And you're like, oh, they were right. That is how I was coming across. For example, if you're talking and you think you paused for an eternity to come up with the brilliant answer that was, when you watch it on your film, like, oh, that didn't feel as long as I thought it was. So you get a sense of how long you can take to compose your thoughts and answer a tricky question, right? So that's one thing you can do. Plus, you get a feeling for your nervous tics, right? So when I actually did this first when I was performing in Nashville, and so I took this performance coaching class, and so she would, talk to us and tell us, video your performance. And so it's kind of funny. I'm up on stage at the Bluebird. Luckily, I played there more than once because I got to fix this. But so I would be singing, and at the end of every verse, I would do this like, what is this all about? You don't know you're doing this thing, right? And so, but that's the thing, you have these mannerisms, like, I'm not going to name names or point, but one person that came up here answered like this, with their hand in their pocket. And this body language gives you a sense that you're hiding, that you're shrinking, that you're not confident. So that would be something to watch. One person answered a question and they had something in their hand, and it was distracting me from their answer because they kept flipping the thing in their hand, right? So that's the kind of things that you don't know you do. They're your involuntary kind of things. So those are always good. Have people video you so you can see what you look like. And another thing you can do is you guys are all experts at something, okay? So I've been a business coach and a mentor at work long enough. First of all, I want all the women in here to read the Confidence Code. You haven't already, okay? We women, apparently, from regular guys like us all the way to the titans of leadership, have imposter syndrome on some level. So that's a great book to read, okay? We just need to know about it, be aware of it, and then we can overcome that. And so, but we're all experts at something. Some of y'all are out there going, you do not know what you are. I'm just kind of good. I'm kind of okay at stuff. I'm a jack of all trades, and I am not an expert at anything. First of all, you're an expert at being you. If you have transitioned from one field to another, and even if you're still going, you're ahead of the person who is still in their regular job wanting to transition. You are an expert on how you got through that process, okay? So there's something you're an expert at. What I would invite you to consider is to use speaking while you're in your job search and beyond to go out and speak on your topic. You can, and ways you can do that, if you guys, who's already doing this, speaking at different groups on your subject matter? Okay, so this could be a good tip for you guys. So Austin, God bless it. Ever since I got here, it's an amazing environment, so supportive. I've never seen job clubs like this. This is incredible. And it's filmed, and you can go back and watch it if you missed something. It's just amazing, the support for job hunters and also startups and new businesses. And I came in June and got welcomed with open arms. So all that to say, even if you've never taken advantage of the stuff here, just dive in because people are waiting with open arms, right? Especially here. This is phenomenal. But meetup groups. Anybody on meetup.com? Okay, about a third of us. Okay, so meetups, if you're on there, there's like 3 or 4 different meetups popping up every day, brand new ones. It's incredible. I was in some session with a coach in San Diego. First of all, if you've got a coach who doesn't have a coach, that's out of integrity. For me, I train with people at the next level because I just believe in coaching. But so I'm out there and I lost my train of thought there for a second. Meetup groups. Okay. So you go to and they said, hey, you need to try to find a meetup group to go to. I know, just look. There's got to be something you can go to once or twice a week. I'm like, are you kidding? In Austin, you could literally go to 2 or 3 a day, literally, right? So you go on meetup.com and you can look up, there's business ones, there's like entrepreneurs, new to Austin. There's, if you're single, there's single in Austin. There's, there's people who love wine. There's the Wiccan Witch Club. I mean, there's literally everything, right? I'm not in that. I'm just saying there is one if you are so inclined. But I mean, literally across the spectrum. And all of these guys typically are looking for speakers. So the ones in the business field, the entrepreneurial field, you could just contact the organizer and say, hey, do you guys take outside speakers? And if they do, then you have your topic ready. What would you speak on? Probably plan for 30 minutes or so. Probably going to be free. But what does that do? It puts you in front of people that are interested in your topic. And you immediately, when you're up here, immediately people see you as the expert, because you wouldn't be up here if you didn't have something of value to say to people, right? So suggest, going out and doing that. And now you can show that you speak on your subject. You can parlay that into other speaking engagements. Show yourself as an authority in that area, and that helps you, A, build your networking contacts. It helps you, build credibility with your peers. You form your cliques. So hopefully you guys, you were talking earlier about you guys get together and help each other find jobs, or, alert each other. Maybe, I don't know, does anybody here know anybody else here? Okay, so that would be good if, you guys could hook up and network with each other. Because this town is awesome for that. I mean, there's so many people that pay it forward here. I'm a big believer in paying it forward. Okay, so that's your strategic plan for getting better. Go to Toastmasters or improv so you can think on your feet and go out and find speaking opportunities, because the more you do this, the more comfortable you are in job interviews. The first and only singing engagement my father ever went to was a national anthem at a Huntsville Stars game, and it's the only singing gig where I forgot my words. Yeah, and it was on film. And it was because I didn't realize that the speakers are so far away. You hear it like 8 seconds after you say it. So it threw me off. I'm like, what? So after that, I learned to use earplugs, right? But, getting up here and getting comfortable and having stuff happen and you live through it and you're fine, it makes you more comfortable with that one-on-one interview. I can go in and interview with anybody. Hire me, don't hire me, no. And that's part of the thing, is going in with I am together, I'm confident, I know my stuff, and I'm detached from the result. People can sense desperation. They can sense, like the car salesman, like, oh my gosh, I need this sale, please, please, please buy. Versus, hey, I'm here today, and I would love to be a resource for your company. Here are the skills I bring to the table, right? And I've researched. And if you can go in with a suggestion for improvement that you've already researched, maybe you know somebody at the company. Does anybody here go on LinkedIn and try to find people they know that are already at the company? That's perfect. So not everybody. So that's a great thing to do too. If you have an inside way in, that's perfect. It's a warm intro, right? So we got the strategic plan. That went to my third step of upgrade your skills, which I kind of already eased into. But you guys need to look at Amy Cuddy. Has anybody heard of Amy Cuddy? Okay. She did a TED Talk, C-U-D-D-Y, and it's on body language. And it's amazing what she talks about. So TED Talks are only 20 minutes, so it's not a big commitment to watch it, okay? So she actually talks about how before you go into a job interview, you go into the restroom. Ladies, we do this anyway. I don't know about men, but we do. You go in there, you do your power poses. I'm king of software engineering, and nobody's seeing you. You're in the bathroom, but you're big and you're powerful, and I'm gonna rock this interview. This is gonna be awesome. And then you're like, okay. You come out of your bathroom stall. Hey, how's it going? And then you go into your interview. You have a whole different energy in that interview of confidence. Calm confidence, not this, you're not going to be aggressive with them, but it just hypes up your energy, right? So really, I would highly recommend either just taking my word for it and do it, or go watch the science. If you're an engineer, you got to watch, she's done scientific research on it, the whole thing. There's lots of data to back that up.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
most of the interviews that I've had, like recently in the past year, it's all video. So how does that translate into how to do a video? So that's more and more of what I'm seeing. I rarely have a in-person before I have like 3 videos.
So that is actually a strategic advantage, right? Is it a live video or are you filming it?
No, it's a live video.
It's live, okay.
So I'm on WebEx.
Like Zoom or
with,
Skype?
yeah,
Okay.
Skype with many different people.
Okay. So that's really great. So I just did one yesterday with a leadership panel for National Association of Professional Women. So with that, you have to stay in the box, of course, right? And so I will tell y'all, so yesterday when I was doing mine with all these people on the line, Star Jones in the intro, the maintenance man comes to the door. I was like, really? Yeah, so first of all, things are gonna happen on the video interview. So if you're at home, I had to put the dog up and still the maintenance man come, really. So just be prepared for that. And I got through it and I said, hey guys, real life, sorry about that. And I had someone on LinkedIn email me and go, that was really great how you handled that. Great, grace under pressure. People are always watching you. So now, back to your scenario. If you're on video, you want to make sure you have a great mic. The computer mic is not good, right? And so, I've got a Blue Yeti, Y-E-T-I, which is really good. I think it was like a couple $100 though. You don't want to necessarily go that far with it. I do a lot of, talking online, but invest in a really good mic because you want your sound quality. You want to be clear and confident sounding. So for sure. And then for speaking, let's see. I'm trying to think if I do things differently for. Well, first of all, your advantage is while they're asking the question, you can be writing your thoughts, okay, here's the question. Make sure you write the question so you don't have to go, can you repeat that, because that makes it sound like you weren't paying attention. And then kind of sketch out some bullet points on your thoughts, and then you can go through it, right? And you're not on camera doing that. I was doing that actually. They were asking questions on the fly. And so that helps you look more poised, right? So what would you say has been most difficult in a video interview that was your most challenging question or scenario or?
First of all, because a little bit about me, I do conference calls. I think that's my work.
Yes.
Is conference calls. So one of the first things that I always ask is, can you hear me clearly? But one thing that I would have found myself in the situation because using hand gestures kind of come natural, maybe in person, but on the video that doesn't. So you really need to, maybe follow what you said, maybe take yourself to see how you come across on a video because, simple hand gestures on a video doesn't show well.
Yes, and what I have, because I'm a hand person too, and I absolutely agree with you. If you use Zoom,
I've done Zoom.
okay. Because you could have the trusted friend get on there with you and ask you questions you don't know are coming and see how you respond. And a lot of times, so if you're a hand gesture person, so say I'm sitting in front of this computer, so that's the camera usually that I use, and then I've got my mic in front of it. So if I'm doing stuff out here, they don't see it, right? Because they're here. So you need to think about that. And then when I'm giving an example, like, for example, I talked about the confidence code. Oh my gosh, I want everybody to read this book. So I talk about it all the time. And I was like, everybody from the us guys, and I looked at the screen, I'm like, oh, they can't see that. So I had to pull it in. Everybody from us all the way to the side. So be sure you're looking to get that feedback, and you can see, are my hand gestures, if you say, something was this big, if you're, hey man, it was this big, well, you're not in the frame. So absolutely, I would practice for sure. Especially too, that's your work and your interview. So that's another reason why speaking is so important, is because we're more and more becoming distributed teams across the country, global, so then you have really bad links when you're, talking. So I went to Ethiopia last June, and those links were terrible. So learning how that latency, how long do you have to wait for the question? Because you say something, now you're talking on top of each other, wait a few seconds for their question to finish and then start your answer because they might have said something else, right? So that would be another thing to look at on the video. So anything else besides, I want to make sure I address, because this is a big deal. Okay, very good, very good. Yes, sir.
One question.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on a Polycom situation where we had the visual as well as the big little tripods in and that's one thing I found out in the situation, and it's both a tactical and a strategic issue. We have people from different venues, countries even. And one person's a very big on conceptual, I want to be totally conceptual. The other one's a hands-on person, and they want to know that your fingers are the keyboard. And you're trying to bridge both those people. And the only way, I don't know if I'm doing this right or not, I'm trying to find a happy medium between the two. So it takes a little bit of sugar and spice from this person, and a little bit of sugar and spice from that person to make it work to get into the soup. And I inevitably, somebody gets tipped off with this, and I'm trying to build that saying that you're both important, and they say, well, I'm important, he's not. And you can almost see them on a video thing, kind of look at each other like, I didn't even want you to be here.
Who invited you to this meeting?
They didn't want that person to be in that conference call, but somebody put them there, and they didn't want to be there, but you're sitting there trying to make it work.
So were you the leader of the call or the facilitator of the call? Who was in charge of the call?
There was a facilitator, but stayed off the side.
Okay. So I think when it gets contentious like that, and this is when another thing, speaking is good for solving these kind of people problems, is it's really important to set objectives for the call that everybody agrees to up front. Like, hey, what do we want to get out of this today? Do we want to come out of here with 3 good ideas, concept guy, to go evaluate? Or do we want to take a good idea and go ahead and kind of lay down some steps towards implementing so that the detail guy can now parlay in there? I don't know the situation, but find that common ground so if people start getting off track, because concept guys are the shiny squirrel. Y'all say shiny squirrel or shiny object? We say shiny squirrel where I'm from. So, but when they start getting off track, so the detail guys go woo way down to the rivets, right? And then the shiny squirrel people are like, oh, look at all the pretty colors. And so, what were the objectives? And you can go, okay, hey guys, so we have 30 minutes left. We all wanted to get to this point with this call. What do you think about, and just progress on with the next point. That helps to set objectives that everybody agrees to. Because if they all came to the meeting to do something different, you're just going to be a waste of time, right?
In my situation, I asked for an itinerary for the meeting so we can come to focus. And excuse me, HR people, I asked for an itinerary. I didn't get one. They should have put it on the table to keep it on track. It didn't happen. They just kind of laid back and said, whatever.
So that's when me, because it's let lead follow and get the heck out of the way, except that we don't say really heck in our own, say something else. But if people are supposed to leave and they don't, I would inject myself and go, hey, y'all, let's maximize use of our time, let's do this. And if somebody's not wanting to leave, then there's a gaping hole where somebody can step in and go, hey, and show yourself to be valuable, and you herded the cats.
So Philip Sargent walked in.
You could have, yeah.
He tried to build the steps.
I would have, yeah.
And he said, heck with you, I'm going to go that way.
Well, I would say, hey, hey, are y'all leaving this? And go, oh no, you guys do your thing. Then, there's a soft way to ease into that. But absolutely, people usually are glad when somebody steps up and go, hey, let's make sure we make this hour valuable, right?
I find that a lot of situations when you two different people out there coming from two entirely different directions, and you can even see the conflict going on. I'm always afraid to step into that saying, well, you're just down there, you're just a peon interviewing here. So,
yeah, if they're interviewing you, I would not do that in that situation. I thought if they're interviewing you, then you need to address each person's questions. It just depends on your situation, right? If concept guys, hey, tell me what all different ideas would you have about this? I would answer that question. And this guy's like, hey, well, how would you specifically, well, in the past, how have you done this? And then you go down to the rivets. And then you need to make sure, if they're all involved in the decision to hire you, you need to all answer all their questions on the level that they're at.
So this is during an interview you're talking?
Yeah, I didn't get that at first either. That would be squirrely, yeah.
That's why I asked for itinerary and
No, that's not your job either.
No, yeah, you wouldn't lead in that. You just make sure you've answered everybody's questions. And I would even ask them, like, answer and go, does that answer your question? And then you've got detail guy wanting you to go down to the rivets and talk about your knowledge on something. And you go, well, can you give me an example of what you would like me to talk about? They give it to you, you answer it, does that answer your question? And, but in that situation, you need to make sure everybody's happy with your answers. Because they're all coming probably from different departments, looking at things from different ways. Are you going to be able to, yeah, you're an engineer. I don't know, what is your job? Big data. You're a big data guy. So you're a big data guy, but they're probably going to need cost estimates. You're going to have to tell them how hard the job is, how many hours. You're going to have to weigh in and talk to budget people and cost people and maybe even some contract people. How well can you go from different angles on your subject? That may be the point they're trying to make there. And that's for everybody. Yes, sir.
One of the key things is that you actually need to ignore the conflict.
Yeah.
Ignore their conflict, because what happens is you key off that, they identify that, they don't really necessarily know where it's coming from, and that's going to look negative during the interview process. It's ignore their conflict, just basically fire away at the answers, because if you're paying attention to their issues, you're not really focusing on what you need to do to take care of it. And they'll see that and they'll key off that. That's not good.
And that's a great point, because you may be misinterpreting. Thank you very much. Oh, and I was gonna, good, I've got numbers. So if you guys can put your name, number, and email, I am putting together a free webinar on how to will you say stuff or speak up, 5 keys to speaking with confidence. So everybody that gives me a card is going to get the free webinar. So if you have to go, feel free to just come up here. But that's a great point, because first of all, that culture may be adversarial. You may be reading it as conflict, and that just may be 2 guys that just talk that way. So in your world, that may have been like, ooh, look at that conflict. But just like you were saying, don't take it personal even when it's personal. That's something I say. Don't take it personally even when it's personal. In any situation, because in a job, people see how you react to tense situations. It could be a test of some sort to see how you're going to react to the conflict. Don't own that as your conflict. You're there to answer the questions. And if they've got a conflict, just make sure you're answering all their questions, and don't take that burden of solving their conflict on you. That's not your thing to solve.
And also, on the communication piece, about $60, there's a Logitech H928D, which has a great microphone and a really good camera. About $60 on Amazon. It's much better than anything you're using on a laptop. It's small and portable. It's not very big. You can carry it with USB. It's a good piece of equipment to use for if you're having to do lots of regular video conferences. It's a very big upgrade from the laptop.
Because I would say, even if you ask them, can you hear me clearly? That you can hear someone on a computer mic clearly in terms of you're not missing words. You know what I mean? You're not missing words. You can hear that. But at the same time, it's fuzzy and you're muted. And by muted, I don't mean totally down to 0. I mean, it doesn't sound like you're right here, right? So a great mic is a great investment, just for work, for, Skyping with the kids, whatever. But definitely for interviews, I would definitely do that. We are definitely in the Q&A portion for sure. Yes, sir.
So you've been talking about this when it's a position interview. When you're doing an information interview, how does this change?
So tell me what you mean by information interview. I'll make sure I understand.
So I've met someone and I call them up and ask for some time to learn more about how their company does this, or to discuss something I know about their life a little more. And the goal at the end is to say, and is there someone I can ask more about this? And you're trying to circle your way into a company by learning, having to get to know you.
Okay, so you have asked for the interview, you called and originated the interview. So I think I would definitely go in with a certain set of questions. I'm sure you're doing that. And clear is that set your vision. What do I want to get out of this? Do I really want to get the director of HR? Do I want to get, the director of engineering? Do I want to get whoever it is, the gatekeeper to the decision maker so you can get, take the secretary to lunch? Whatever it is, your goal, just know your goal and then make sure you're asking, first of all, you're making efficient use of their time, because if they've given you that time, everybody's so busy, right? But, so you're not answering their questions, which is what would happen in a position interview. You're asking the questions. So you need to be really, have thought about what questions, phrase, what way get you exactly what you want to know. It's not going to probably be yes or no questions. You're going to ask questions that are going to stimulate conversation. One question could be, what would be your advice to someone who has this kind of experience? Should they look at any types of skills that you think would be valuable in your workplace? What would you recommend? I don't know what kind of questions you're asking. I'm just off the cuff here. But when you're asking, you need to definitely have an agenda of what your goal is for the talk and make sure that it's met and keep it brief and not don't ramble, right? Does that help? Yes, ma'am.
I have a question, since I'm sort of just starting on this process, and I noticed that on the unemployment thing, they ask you, did you get any job offers? And I'm wondering, okay, if I get a job offer and I don't really want to accept that job, like as I went through the interview, maybe I started to hear things that I didn't really find that was right for me. What do you say? I mean, are you allowed to turn down jobs when you're on the unemployment program thing?
That's really another question for her. That's a great question for me because I worked for Workforce for a long time. So I can talk to you about that later.
Okay, so maybe more general. I mean, I am wondering, and I don't know, maybe again this is too specific, but as you go through an interview, I had an interview yesterday, and as I mentioned, I'm trying to sort of transition to something that I don't have a lot of experience in. All right. So, but if I start to hear things and I'm thinking to myself, this might not be the job for me, how do you sort of figure that out? Because you may, if you're applying for 5 jobs a week, let's say,
Right.
and you got responses coming back, people wanting to interview you. I mean, I just find that a rather, I'm not sure how to handle that. If you're getting offers or something and you're still waiting and hoping something better comes along or something like that. Is that off topic here?
So part of that definitely is your lane, but the first thing I would say is in terms of speaking and clarifying message. If you're sitting, so first of all, it's that owning your power. When I had you guys do the exercise of what was your best job ever, and how that make you feel. I wanted to come back to this. This is a great point. Go into your job and go, this is how I want to feel with this job. I don't want a job where I'm settling. I don't want a job where I feel underutilized. I want to feel like this. This is my life would be perfect if I could be in that job, feeling that way again.
For example, they use a lot of buzzwords like fast-paced. So you start to get the impression you're going to work you to death. It's going to be very stressful. How do you explore those terms in the interview when they say, "Oh, this is a very fast-paced, blah blah blah," a lot of things going on. Yeah. You don't want to sort of put yourself in a position where you're making yourself look like you're not willing to work hard. At the same time, you don't want all that stress moving.
Yeah, so I would do that actually. In that job that was my best job, so I called that my interview style, and that job was lead with the heart from the start, and that was telling people that exact thing. It was, I would say, look, this program literally changes twice a week. And we have to scrap and just redo plans constantly. And if you're a person that doesn't like change, you're going to smother and die here. But it was my, I thought it was my responsibility to let people know, because some people are going through life changes, divorces, aging parents that they're taking care of, whatever, and they're just like, I can't deal with one more thing. And if it's going to be this crazy pace, I can't do it. In the interview, I would not go, whoo, oh please, no, I can't, you know. That's your inside voice. You're like, ooh, my Lord, mercy. So, but you're like, oh really? But what I would do is, fast paced can mean different things to different people, right? So I would say, hey, can you tell me what that looks like? What's an example of fast paced? Like, what's this, so I can understand what you mean by that, you know? You say, hey, I love a challenge. Because everybody loves to be challenged. I mean, nobody wants to be sitting in there watching the clock all day, right? Because it's like the longest day ever. But, I love to be challenged. So but fast paced means different things. Can you tell me what that means here? Just so I understand, And then that shows you in a strong light, like, hey, I just want to know more about your environment and what kind of situations I would be dealing with, and all these kinds of things. So you don't admit that, because if somebody had told me, whoo, child, I do not want to, and they're like, okay, on to the next one, right? So you don't want to do that, but I get it.
Right, but then you might oversell yourself or end up, like I said, with an offer for a job. They like the way you responded to all those questions and stuff. And then you're like asking yourself at the end, like, hey, here's an offer from a company where but I like what you said, tell me what that looks like, which I didn't do yesterday too. I got a little bit of it.
Because that's the thing, you have to, and when I said, feel that best job ever, they're interviewing you, but you're also interviewing them. You don't have to take the job offer, right? So depending on how they answer the question, it may not be a fit for your personality, if you're a person who wants your work to matter, and you want to have impact, and you want the products and services that come out of your efforts to like serve people, and these people are all about bottom line, it's not going to be a good fit. You're going to be miserable, right? So that you're interviewing them.
The thing that is learning how to know if it is a good fit.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, I feel a little bit like a, or whatever it is in the game, you go to something because it looks like really attractive, like this looks like a great offer, a great job, university, pay is never enough, but it's a good position, right? And then you take it, and then you're excited for a while, but then you start to see maybe there are not good matches here. And it's like, how do you figure those things out?
Well, you need to know what are your have to have and will not accept. I have to have these things, or I'm not taking it. And these are if this pops up in the interview, I'm done. You want to get through the interview and be professional, and you don't want to necessarily tell them what your don't haves are. But that helps you in your inner filing cabinet when the offers come in. You can say, immediately you could say, thank you so much for your offer. I really appreciate it, but I'm not quite sure it's going to be a good fit. But I really appreciate you taking the time to interview me, and I really enjoyed meeting you. So, because they did take time to interview you. You beat out somebody for the interview, right? And then if you get an offer and you're like, I'm just not sure, then try to use your network. That's why in here, it's great to build networking contacts. People know people, especially in Austin. It's crazy how it's all over the place. So try to test your networks. Does anybody know what it's like to work here? How's management? Are there promotion opportunities? If you want that. Some people don't want promotion. They don't want the stress and the headache, right? So it's just what your priorities are. Dig around, become a private investigator on the culture. If you have to take time off to take care of a parent or a kid or a grand or whatever, are they going to fire you, or is that going to be seen as bad? Is that something you do a lot? That's not going to be a fit. Do you like to go to the beach? Do you like to go travel? Are they going to not want you to go travel because the work is so intense? That's not going to be a fit, So know what your gotta have and won't accept are, and that'll help you sort your job offers. Yes, ma'am.
Our time is getting a little constricted, and I want to make sure you get through all of your 5 strategies.
Okay.
I think we got down to number 3.
Upgrade skills. So the 4th one is to optimize your environment, your speaking environment. So going into your interview, we've touched on them all. It's doing your body language, optimize your environment, and that means optimizing your attitude, your toxic people in your life. If you have people and you say, hey, I'm going to go try for this job and whatever, and they're like, what in the world are you think you aren't qualified for that? What do you do? Or the people are like, you need to go get off your can and go get a job. What are you doing? You should be interviewing every day. What's going on? You need to look at your environment and kind of sanitize that. And in terms of speaking, when you go into your interview, are you more comfortable with bullet points? Are there things you want them to know about you that they might not ask? So this is a media training question, or it's a tactic. If it's like when CNN comes at you with, what do you think about President Trump's thing, and you say, well, that's a good question. And you answer, of course, answer their question, go, but an even better question would be, what can I do for you guys? And I'm really excited about bringing my skills to bear because I think that this, and this would be really awesome, in this environment. And I could, I can sling hash, that's what I call it. But know what you want them to know about you that they might not ask, and you can spin it that way. You go, that's a great question. And the answer to that is this, but an even better question is what do I have that you don't know that could benefit you? And then you get to slip your answers in there. So that's optimizing your environment. Know what you definitely want them to know. You can slip it in. Be confident with your mindset. Remember that job, the best job ever. Kind of channel that. Remember that feeling. Get back into that. Because you attract those jobs, those people with the energy you put out. If you're a sad sack, I got a job. What the heck am I going to do? Man, I got a date in a year. What in the world? Nobody's going to, you're repelled by that, right? Y'all will look at me going, what is she doing up there? You just get this feeling of, you want to get that confidence when you go into that interview, right? So that's optimizing your speaking environment. And then if you think you're going to need cues, in the Army we call it red teaming. And that's like looking, what possible question could they answer me? And I literally knew people. One lady even did it at the beach on vacation. I couldn't believe she did that. But she red teamed every question and had her answers. And she had memorized her answers to these questions when she went into this interview, which is good. What is your strategic planning experience? And what do you think we should do as a company to expand our product line into big data or whatever the newest, best technology is? Come up with some ideas on that. How would you help grow this company? What new solutions could you provide input on, those types of things? That's optimizing your speaking environment. And then the last thing is your mindset, mastering your mindset. You gotta leave the insecurity, man, I've had 20 interviews and nobody's got me back. Because it's coming. Success is inevitable if you put in the work. It just is. Maybe your path is not to keep doing what you have been doing. Maybe your path is to go a different way and try a new avenue with this. Is it Udemy? I've only ever seen it spelled udemy.com. Maybe this is I don't know how many of y'all are into signs from the universe. Maybe it's a sign. Every time I've had that happen, it's because some new opportunity that I would have never seen coming was coming my way. The best jobs I've ever had didn't even exist 2 years before I got it. It just is the way it is. And I loved how people here volunteered for things because the best jobs I ever got, I volunteered and did them on the side and worked my way into the job. Those included leadership jobs. So volunteering, and just data point, my best friend here who taught me to move here is executive director at Water to Thrive. She had a great experience. You guys did the website for the nonprofit. They do water projects in Africa. So I hear great things. So, that's a great way to volunteer, get your experience up. And even if you get hired in to do one thing and you're qualified and you do these other things, make sure you're covering that base and go, hey, I've got experience in this and this. Can I help you with a different project? And then you work your way up into, maybe you didn't come in at the salary you wanted, but now you can work your way up into that job. You're not settling. You just got to get in there and then work your way up, right? That's my, maybe this is a good way to get off the stage. So at a Christmas party, I was the deputy product director for a ground-based radar system, and the product director, we had a Christmas party for our folks. Open bar, the whole thing. And so they presented us with these plaques. They'd taken pictures of the team. One guy was a woodworker, really nice frame, and they had sent around this list of quotes, and they had the whole team vote on which quote was best for each person. So we had a customized quote. And so the one they voted on for me has got a curse word in it, but it's a quote, so it's allowed, right? And it says, "Retreat hell, we're just advancing in another direction." And that is so true. Never take no for an answer. There is always a way to succeed. And I would say, just if you've been a while without a job, just use these strategies, use your resources. This is a great town for that. I'm overwhelmed with how just wonderful it is. I'm trying to talk all my friends and come here. I know often people hate that.